Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the November 18th, 2025 Portsmouth Police Commission meeting. I call the meeting to order and ask everyone to rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Scher joins us tonight from Zoom. Commissioner, can you see and hear us okay?
I can.
Oh, wonderful.
Loud and clear.
So first on the agenda, I'll take a acceptance of the October 27th meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the October 27th Police Commission meeting minutes.
Second.
On the motion, or I guess any discussion? Hearing none on the motion, Commissioner Scher,
Aye.
Commissioner Fernald,
Aye.
and I vote yes. We are next moving on to public comment. However, it is a quiet day here at the Police Commission meeting, and I don't see anyone in public comment. I don't think there's anyone else on Zoom. So we will move right to the Police Commission new business. And first, the facilities update. We have the Municipal Building Blue Ribbon Committee meeting updates. We're at a point where we're just finishing up space needs at City Hall, and that will hopefully shortly we'll get that back, which will sort of inform the sense of scope, which will then inform estimated cost of this, the full extent of the project. Does anybody else have any comments?
I'll just add to that we are still on target to start our dispatch remediation starting January, the first week in January after the holidays. We've set up our redundant dispatch center and make sure things are working over there, which is just about completed. So we're looking forward to start that project.
Oh, great. Any other comments? We'll move on then to community priorities. We have the CAD RMS system underway, and that seems like mostly going well. Chief or Deputy Chief, do you want to speak to that?
I'll start a little bit and then I'm
Okay.
going to pass it on to the deputy because that's his baby. So, the transition has happened. Obviously, when we go the whole new computer operating system, it's a big, tall task, and we're still climbing that mountain. The transition went well as far as everything's working. It's not a casualty. There was no major disruptions, but now we're just working through the nuances of having a new system and working on carrying over the information from our old system to our new system. There's, one of the bigger issues is how we do accidents. We're still working through that because that's a new system to us, and it's a new system to the state. So they're working through the kinks of trying to work behind the scenes on all the computer interfaces to get that to work as smooth as possible. So outside of that, I'll leave it to the deputy to.
Yeah, like the chief mentioned, we went live on November 4th as far as the go live goes. When we flipped the switch, if you will, we were dispatching police and fire within the hour, 911 calls, etc. So all the major interfaces with State 911, NCIC, spots, those worked from the beginning, and from the feedback we got from the staff from Central Square that was on site, who they go to go lives across the country every week. They were satisfied with how our go live went, and they said, the amount of preparation that the team put in prior to go live kind of paid off because we were able to flip the switch and be operating on the new system. The public was never aware that we switched. So that was obviously the best case scenario there. And what we've been working on since November 4th is every division in the police department, not just police officers, but the professional staff from the records and court to property and evidence to everybody in the building uses this computer software for some function. And some users use it for a very different function than other users. So what we're doing, now is, as we're finding the little bumps in the road and the little things that need to get tweaked and adjusted, many of those are out of control. Many of those are out of our control and in the hands of the vendor. We're meeting on a continual basis, including today. We'll meet a couple times a week where we're going around, we're identifying the shortcomings, we're identifying how to fix those shortcomings, and then whether it's an internal thing we can do on our IT side or contracting out with the vendor to have them change something, we're getting those fixes done and taken care of as we discover some of the nuances and some things that are different now. Everything from how the laptop looks to the officer who's on the street, to how the property labels are printing in the property room. Everybody has a different piece to it. And, we're 2.5 weeks in, a little over 2 weeks in at this point. We've made an incredible amount of progress in that short period of time to clean things up, but there's still some more work to be done until we really feel confident with it. As the chief mentioned, the crash reporting has been a bit of a challenge with the new way we're submitting to the state. And not to get into the weeds, but forever when we do a crash report in Portsmouth, all crash reports have to be reported to the state, New Hampshire. So on a monthly basis, we would mail them to the state of New Hampshire. We're now doing that electronically. So with that, there's a new interface that was built that we're identifying challenges with, which we're working through each day in order to streamline that and make that easier for the officers doing the reports and the supervisors approving them. So we're starting to see a lot of the benefits of the new system in a sense that it's, one-stop shopping. When you open up the system for the day, you're really operating out of one system for just about everything you need. You don't have to bounce between different computer softwares. So that functionality's really good and beneficial to us. It's just a matter of customizing it and getting it used to everyday life and then tweaking some things here and there. So it's been a team effort for sure. We probably had 10 or 12 of us in a room today talking about the different aspects of it, but as we continue to use it and solve these issues that come up, I think it'll become easier to use for everybody.
That's great. I mean, I think it's worth noting just what a massive undertaking it is to change the CAD RMS system. It is the backbone of all the information for policing, and this project entailed in it, just so people in the community understand, it's migrating 30 years of data. It's switching to, all the programming has switched. And so I think it's worth giving credit, Chief and Deputy Chief and everybody else who has been so heavily involved in this, in that all the effort to make it seamless. The reason the community doesn't know what a huge undertaking it has been is because it's been so seamless, even with, hurdles or barriers or challenges or, corrections that need to be made. The function from day to day operating, and out in the community has been completely unimpacted. And that is really a credit to you and the efforts to, all the work ahead of this, in preparation of this, so that on the go live date, it could be so seamless. So thank you, really, thank you so much. I think this is, we talked in the context of our community priorities, and it was a tall order when we were talking about what we wanted to get, the information we want to be able to draw out from this CAD RMS system. And so it was really a tall order in terms of what we were looking for, but also an implementation in how the data has to get entered, right? Because the data that we pull out is only as good as the data that's entered in. And so we are, I think, I speak for everyone, that we are excited about gathering that data, but really incredibly appreciative for everybody's efforts to make it seamless, to be so functional so quickly. And and all the work that went into that.
I
Absolutely
would add,
agree.
if I could add that, I've been in the criminal justice system in New Hampshire for over 40 years now, and it is way more common in police departments that I've seen over the years that the leadership doesn't want to change and doesn't want to try new things and doesn't want to grow because it seems to be working the way it is. And I think the city owes tremendous compliments to the leadership of the department, particularly Chief Newport and Deputy Chief Maloney, for embracing the idea of change and really bringing the police department well into the 21st century. And I've watched that happen as a commissioner over the last 4 years. And, you know, we are lucky to have Chief Newport and Deputy Chief Maloney to be proactive in positive change and making us a high-quality 21st century police department.
I'll thank you for the accolades, but I'm going to pass that buck to our staff that's making this happen. The buy-in of the department and everybody just hitting the ground and running and working through this has been phenomenal. Actually, I've been amazed by it. You know, even with the hurdles we've had, you know, from the ground up, officers to professional staff, the deputy, everybody's just finding a way, could easily be just complaining about it, but they're finding ways to address the issues that we have, identify them, and move forward on it, and everybody's trying to learn on it. So even from before we went live to where we are at now, I commend our staff. You know, big parts in that were, you know, Daisy, our IT director, and Jason Cullen, our dispatch supervisor, did a lion's share of some of the behind-the-scenes work to get us where we're at. But you know, even everybody each division heads, you know, the evidence, Elena in evidence. There's a lot of people that played an integral role to get us to where we're at now, and to continue to move this project forward.
Great, thank you. Commissioner, did you have anything to add? Okay. Well, thank you. We will now turn it to Chief of Police and for the crime analyst report. I know that both the traffic statistics, some of these reports, I guess for the next couple months while we're in terms of getting the gathering data and working through some of the kinks in the CAT RMS system, we may not have as many detailed reports, but take it away.
Deputy.
Well, we feel good about these numbers because we
Okay.
pulled them off the old system.
Okay. We're getting there.
But yeah, you know, in the reporting piece of the new software is something we're excited about. Building customized reports is a function of it, but again, it's just learning how to do that. You know, anybody in the department can create a custom report, for example. So if I wanted to have a specific report on the number of arrests or the number of thefts or the number of whatever, you know, I can run that as a recurring report in the new system, and I can get an email on the first Monday of every month that tells me what the previous month's statistics are. So I don't have to go get it. I just see the report in my email. So we're not there yet, but
Nice.
That's the future.
That's the future, yeah. So that being said, averaging the years of 2022, 23, and 24 compared to 2025, and these numbers are from the month of January to October 31st. On overall calls for service, we're down 8.6% to 33,307. Arrests, we are just about exactly the same at 776 arrests, which is down less than 1%. DWI arrests, again, just about the same, 82 for the previous 3-year average. We're tracking at 81 currently. Offense reports, which are police reports, we're down 10% to 1,867. Reportable motor vehicle crashes, we're also happy to say that number is down almost 10% to 383. Motor vehicle stops and motor vehicle offenses, we're at 5,891 for the year to date to October 31st, which is down 14%. Involuntary emergency admissions, we are up 4.2% to 50 this year. And juvenile matter calls remain on the decline at 23% to 114 juvenile matter calls year to date, to October 31st.
Thank you. Traffic statistics?
Yeah, traffic statistics for the month of October, we had 447 motor vehicle stops, 8 summonses which were issued, and reportable motor vehicle crashes were at 44.
I have a question for the deputy chief.
Go ahead, Commissioner Sure.
Looking at the motor vehicle stops, decline in motor vehicle stops in the traffic stats and the motor vehicle stops offenses, that 14, almost 15% decline. Am I right in saying this is consistent with our challenge in filling all the available budgeted slots for police officers? That is, another way to put it is, we can't have as many officers on the street as we used to have, and we're seeing that in a decline in motor vehicle stops. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, I would say that's accurate. Any patrol officer who's not actively on a calls for service or doing a police report is highly encouraged. Part of our culture is to conduct proactive traffic enforcement. And simply put, when we don't have the officers to spare, meaning when we don't have as many officers on days, evenings, or overnights, the officers that are working are taking police reports, doing park and walks, doing community policing activities, and there's less of a bandwidth to conduct that additional traffic enforcement. So the lower number on motor vehicle stops, again, is certainly not a shift in priority for the department. It's an accurate reflection of we just simply don't have the officers on the street in addition to our regular patrols that we're accustomed to, and that impacts those statistics in particular.
Great.
Thank you.
Anything else, Commissioner Sure?
That's it for me.
Okay, thanks. We'll move on to the financial report. Karen, take it away.
Same thing. We are currently at 34% through the fiscal year and are tracking at 31%, so 3% under the cap, which is good. We're continuing to work on the FY27 budget, trying to complete a draft for you by mid-December, only because the city has accelerated the schedule this year. They want us to submit some of our numbers in December, and I'm not comfortable doing that unless you at least have a look at the draft and we discuss that. So hopefully I'll have one out to you by mid-December. In terms of grants, we received the state's executive council's approval on the $1.3 million for the ICAC Forensic Shield, so that was the last step, so we can access those funds now.
Great.
With the government shutdown over, we anticipate receiving our federal ICAC grant application. I'm sure with a very short deadline to get that in, because we're behind the 8 ball on that. Bulletproof Vest grant is in process. That's due December 19th. And last meeting, we said that we would post the strategic plan on the website. Jackie did that after our last meeting, and now we start the new one.
Great, thank you so
Yep.
much. Any questions for anybody? Okay. In our packets, we have a patrol division report and court office report. Does anybody have any new business or other business? Commissioner Sure?
None from me.
Okay. Well, our next meeting is Tuesday, December 16th, but I'll always check the municipal calendar. It is worth noting that that will be my last meeting, but in part of that, I would like to say congratulations to Jay Lieberman and Commissioner Sure, who both ran and were elected to the Police Commission. There will be great stewardship continuing on here, I have no doubt. So I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Fernald,
Yes.
Commissioner Scher?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We are adjourned. Have a nice night, everybody.